October 1927. Dear George, you will never recognize the town you once called home. So many changes have taken place since we last spoke. What once started out as a muddy path known as Sauk Indian Trail has certainly grown into a booming roadway. Why you would never recognize how busy the roads have become. It's enough to make one fear for their safety. The Chicago Road has become an important link in connecting the city of Detroit to Chicago, Illinois. It seems that every time I turn around, the road is undergoing major changes, including its name. Why, just yesterday, there were a group of drummers in town. Remember those salesmen we used to get excited about seeing? Well, they hired the hackers from the area to drive them around the countryside and uptown to sell their wares. They were explaining how they were enjoying their travel along Michigan Avenue and meeting all the townsfolk on their way to the big city of Chicago. Many of us still use the horses with buggies or wagons as the most efficient way to get around town. There is nothing like a good, strong horse to pull us through the muddy streets and the deep snow from Michigan. Despite the progression of new methods of transportation, I find my old horses far more reliable and trustworthy. I am sure the younger generation wouldn't agree with me, but Jacob Sturm, who owns the harness shop, would. The railroad makes a stop here on its way from Detroit to Hillsdale, and then on to Indiana. They have put a wooden stove in the waiting room to make the passengers comfortable while they are purchasing their tickets or waiting for the next train to arrive. Many of the farmers prefer to use the rail to ship out their livestock, grain, and apples to other communities. Lately, I have seen wool from Mr. Hertler's sheep and flour from the mill factory being shipped out in vast quantities. Mr. Haywood's mill has been known to produce 125 barrels of flour in a day to be delivered to the docks and loading to ship. I feel such pride in knowing that so many good products made in this town are benefiting other communities around the country. When people are not on the train, they are riding the likes of Old Maud. Old Maud isn't the name of one of Pa's mules. It was our electric interurban trolley line. The large trolley car named Old Maud used tracks and wires to guide her along the road. Each day she made 9 trips to Ypsilanti, linking the cities of Detroit, Ann Arbor, and Jackson together. Sadly, they retired Old Maud in 1925 due to all those new fancy automobiles called the Model T that have taken over the roadways. Highways are being built to accommodate all of these new vehicles. I am told they are selling for $400 or $500 in some cities. George Uphouse has enlarged his gas station uptown. He is now selling 5 gallons of gas for a whopping 50 cents. Lately, the trains and trucks have been shipping large storage crates containing houses that were ordered from the Sears catalog. It is such a sight to see. We all go down to the station to watch as the workers unload the huge crates that contain the craftsman style of architecture. The Lambarth family is the latest to invest in one of these modern bungalows that seem to be popping up in all of the magazines. The large front porch makes it perfect for the whole family to gather under on a rainy day. These houses are so much smaller than those that were built not so long ago. They are a far cry from the Second Empire style of the Davenport houses. The first house Beverly and his wife Emily built, if you remember, was in 1874 on East Henry Street. 2 years later, in 1876, his father, William, built a larger house of the same style on the Chicago Road. The large green house and its 2 carriage barns still occupy an entire block in the town. I was recently told that the family traveled to Philadelphia to the Centennial Fair to purchase most of the furniture for the large house. These grand homes are still the tallest in Saline. Even with all these changes, you still recognize the spirit of this community. As always, this is a community of people determined to face each new challenge together. Neighbors helping neighbors. Citizens greeting newcomers with a smile. Families reaching out to assist another in need. Although the landscape has changed, you undoubtedly feel like you are coming home when you visit this spring. We are anxiously anticipating your arrival. Fondly, Harry Finch.